It seems like every other day, there's media types and gamers talking about the Xbox Series X and how it's pulling them away from the PlayStation 5. There's plenty, and I mean plenty of advantages the Xbox has over Sony's PS5, and this article talks about them and why it's pulled the writer away from the PS5 and onto the Xbox Series X. Let's get into the details because there's a lot to discuss here. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. But enough of that, let's get into this article that's titled, as you can see right here, "The PS5 is great, but I can't stop playing my Xbox Series X." And in this article, the author talks about a couple of reasons why they've been using their Xbox Series X console over the PS5. And don't get me wrong, this person isn't just attacking the PS5 and acting like a fanboy. Instead, they're just engrossed in the sheer amount of content on the Xbox Series X. And to be frank, this person actually kind of goes back and talks about how great the PS5 is, and he kind of doubts the Xbox, but it seems like he's almost damage controlling what he's saying so he doesn't get a lot of hate. Not to mention a lot of the advantages the Xbox has over the PS5, advantages that were ignored in the beginning of the generation, are starting to come to light, but have turned into major reasons why people are moving over to the Xbox ecosystem instead of staying on the older, more traditional PlayStation 5 ecosystem. But again, like almost every single person that explained why they're going over to the Xbox Series X, they don't hate on Sony. Instead, they're pointing out valid points of why they're heading over to the Xbox console, which is something the article starts off by saying right here. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X have both been out for 6 months, and times have changed since November. After our initial PS5 review, I continued to play the system for a solid month. Even though I like the Xbox Series X better overall, I wondered when the pendulum would swing the other way, though, and I'd find myself immersed in Microsoft's comprehensive ecosystem. The answer, as it turned out, was 1 month later. Ever since late December, I've been absolutely glued to the Xbox Series X, letting my PS5 gather dust as I waited for the next big exclusive title. To be crystal clear, I like both systems, but at the moment, it's much easier to find games to play on the Xbox Series X. The reason why is simple: Xbox Game Pass. So let's stop right there and break this down a little bit. First up is the fact that this person really did play their PS5 for a pretty solid month, and that's because of the exclusive games that were attached to the PS5, mainly being Demon's Souls and of course one of my favorites, Spider-Man Miles Morales. And for the most part, this was true for a lot of people, including myself. During the start of the generation, being immersed into the PS5 console was easy because they had pretty cool launch lineup of games. But after a couple weeks, the PS5 fell to the wayside and hasn't been used since early December, if not late November, at least for myself. And that's something that happened to this person, as he mentioned right there. But the next thing he explains is the fact that he's been absolutely glued to the Xbox Series X for months and months. And the reason for that is because it's just easier to find games to play on the Xbox Series X. Which, if you have Game Pass and you understand why, it's so easy to just scroll through the games and pick one to play in an instant. Especially if you're feeling a little down with some of your games, you can easily look around and find a game on Game Pass that will help you find a new favorite game. Which is a far cry from how Sony's PlayStation 5 handles new games. And it's some kind of pain point when it comes to new games on the PlayStation 5, which the article mentions in detail right here. Because I have no desire for this piece to wind up as fodder in the ongoing and ultimately meaningless console wars, I will reiterate that I like the PS5 very much, and I'm excited for the games like Returnal, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and God of War 2 Ragnarok. But Xbox Game Pass makes choosing a new game absolutely frictionless, whereas the PS5 hews to an older, less efficient model. On the PS5, I had 3 options. I could scroll through the PlayStation Store or visit a brick-and-mortar shop until I found a game that caught my attention, then spend anywhere from $20 to $60 to buy it. If I didn't like it, too bad. That money was gone either way. The second option was to download one of the free games that came with my PlayStation Plus subscription. They're not really free since PS Plus costs money, but PS Plus subscriptions do get access to at least 2 downloadable games every month in addition to the regular perks. In December, these games included Worms Rumble, Just Cause 4, and Rocket Arena, none of which really piqued my interest. The final option was to pick a game from Sony's excellent PlayStation Plus collection. This curated list of PS4 great hits lets PlayStation Plus subscribers download and play some fantastic titles from Ratchet & Clank 2016 till Final Fantasy. However, I'd already played most of these titles back on the PS4. And this is where the difference between two companies comes into play and could be a deciding factor to gamers. Because while the PS5 has an amazing, and I mean amazing, first-party games that everyone should play, there's still $70 for each one of those games. And once you're done with them, you always want to play something else. And that's where the immersion on Sony's PlayStation gets broken, where pain points start to come up. Because people want to play new games and browse new games without breaking their bank. And on the PS5, that's exactly what you're doing. You have to pay $70 for one game and then pay $20 to $70 for one of the other games you want to play. Sure, you can get PS Plus and get some free games every month, but that won't have staying power like Game Pass does. Or you can go the other route and get PS Now and play old games that you probably already played. So there's not many options and reasons to stay on the PlayStation platform once you're done with those first-party games. Xbox Game Pass has turned the PS5 into a one-game-at-a-time system, especially with third-party deals that have been coming to Xbox Game Pass like crazy. Not to mention the first-party and second-party deals they have coming down the pipeline. And I have a feeling that Game Pass has grown so much over the last several years, people didn't expect to have this many games to play. Like the article mentions right here. That's when I decided that I'd been neglecting the Xbox Series X and decided to see what it had to offer. I'd toyed around with the Xbox Game Pass ever since Microsoft made a big push for it back at E3 2018. However, I realized the service had grown a lot since then, from a few dozen games to a few hundred. Xbox Game Pass has two big advantages over buying games a la carte. Pricing is the most obvious. If I had bought each of the games mentioned above separately, I would have spent somewhere between $200 and $300. By contrast, 1 year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate cost $180. We can debate the merits of owning these games versus renting them indefinitely, but the fact is that if you tend to play a variety of games one time a piece, rather than a handful of games over and over, Xbox Game Pass is more cost efficient. So let's talk about this first advantage, which is the price, because that's something that people tend to talk about a lot, which I have no idea why. It's the best value in gaming bar none, and there's no debating it, that's all. Like the person writing this article mentions, paying $180 to play hundreds of games is amazing. Throw in the fact that each game could be up to $60 a piece shows how much Xbox cares about their fans playing games than paying for them. I just had to say that because it seems a lot of people want to hate on Xbox for no apparent reason. But let's move on to the next reason the article mentions. However, the big draw is the complete lack of friction between wanting to play a game and actually playing it. When you have to pay for a game upfront, even a $10 or $20 game, every new game becomes a small cost-benefit analysis. Do I want that brand new $60 game? What if I held off and got an older one for $20 instead? Should I play something from my backlog? What would even be the most fun right now? Xbox Game Pass essentially eliminates that barrier entirely. If you see something you want to play, you download it and play it. I've downloaded games that I bounced off of immediately and downloaded games that I've played for dozens of hours. The most you can risk is a few hours of your time, and perhaps another $15 if you pay month to month, and need more time to finish a game. The ability to go from mildly curious to fully immersed with a few strokes of a gamepad has helped me discover games I never would have thought to try before. And that's the whole point of Xbox Game Pass. It's to keep people always occupied on the Xbox Series X console and the Xbox ecosystem. So when people start to realize you can play Outriders or any other game on Game Pass for a $10 a month or $15 a month subscription, they'll start to flock to that system that gives them the best performance and the best value in gaming. Long gone are the days of calculating which $60 game to buy. Well, for Sony, $70 game because they decided to do that. We can just enjoy our games and even find new games without feeling that small friction between buying a new game or going back and playing an old game. And that type of freedom is pretty awesome, especially when you find a new game you didn't expect to love. So yeah, I can see why people are leaving the PS5 and heading over to the Xbox Series X. I mean, why wouldn't you? Especially when you play so many games for such a fair price. Not to mention all the negative news Sony has been having lately, $70 games, cloud saving problems, Sony games going to Game Pass day and date, them shutting down their PlayStation stores. The list just keeps growing and growing, much like the list of Xbox Game Pass games. Funny how that works, huh? But enough of what I think about this, tell me what you think about all of this. Does it surprise you that Sony fans are leaving for the Xbox platform? Is Xbox Game Pass going to win the generation for Xbox? When will Sony finally have an answer for Game Pass? Can you truly pay $70 for a single game now? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I'm playing 2 awesome games. I'm playing Outriders, which is on Xbox Game Pass, and man, that game is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with just taking people out, going around, checking out the new classes. The abilities are really top-notch. The gameplay is top-notch. I'm enjoying it a lot. I know there was a couple little server problems over the weekend, but that kind of happens over live games that launch. Anybody complaining about that just needs to realize that, you know, once Destiny launched, there was problems. Every game that's live-based and you're playing with your friends online just has problems. That's just how it is. We move on, and you know what? Over the next couple weeks, they'll fix it. Plus, Outriders has been very transparent about it. And I've been playing It Takes Two with my girlfriend. That game is so derpy. I have so much fun with it. It's just out of this world and just kind of quirky, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. So I hope everybody checks that game out because EA made an awesome game there. But let me know what you're playing. Go down below. I want to know what everybody's playing. That's what we're here for, is to talk games. So I want to know, are you playing over PS5? Are you playing something from Game Pass? And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.